Judy, 2019. It's on Amazon Prime, right? Academy Award winner Renee Zellweger plays Judy Garland. Jessie Buckley plays Rosalind Wilder, her handler while in London. Finn Wittrock plays Mickey Deans. Rufus Savelle, I can't read my own writing. Savelle,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Is Sid Luft.
Yeah.
And there is an all-star cast. It is an ensemble cast with Renee Zellweger leading the way as Judy Garland in London. The last year's, this is the TFR Podcast Live synopsis. The last years of Judy Garland's life in London, performing at the Talk of the Town dinner club.
Yep.
She's down and almost out, but she's still got her voice and the ability to command a stage.
Yeah.
The training at MGM coming in handy, but she wants to retire to raise her kids. But flashing back to harsh treatment at MGM as a child.
Now, when she flashes back, that's Darcy Shaw.
Okay. But flashing back to harsh treatment at MGM as a child only pushes her mind to be cloudy. And so,
sad.
I mean, it is a sad, Judy Garland's existence is a pretty sad existence. It's not as sad or as disappointing as American Black existence during that same time period. But in the case of American Blacks, they just didn't let you in. In her case, she was let in and she was ran through the ringer. You're too fat, you're too this, you're too that. Keep your eyes focused away from the camera.
Take this drug.
And you can watch, and it's funny because they had another Judy Garland movie on. I think it was on HBO years ago. And the director was telling her, keep your eyes off the camera. And when you watched the early Judy Garland films, now you can see her eyes going like this. It's such a shock. It's like a disappointment to see it, and you see her eyes trying to avoid looking directly into the camera lens because she came from stage really, right, as a young person, right. So, this is the trailer as we're talking, right. Renee Zellweger deserves the Academy Award because she not only acted like Judy Garland, gaunt in her last year of life, but she also sang in the movie, and it was convincing as an aging Judy Garland that still had the remnants and still had the pipes and the stage presence and the movement.
She embodied Judy Garland.
She did.
Just like the mannerisms. Just like, it's like every pore of her body was Judy Garland. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if she shook it right off or if she method acted.
Yeah, because I didn't see Renee Zellweger in this film
at all. No, not at all.
Yeah.
And we're playing the trailer as we go. I mean, it is. I mean, her portrayal of it. And I don't know how tall Renee Zellweger is, but it was camera angles and using actors that were probably taller. Because I thought she was a pretty taller woman because Judy Garland was a shorter person, right? But it was camera angles. That's why I say when we get to the rating, the cinematography on this and the camera movement on this and the way that they told the story with angle sizes and everything, and all Judy Garland wanted was to have a normal life after all the work that she had put in. I don't know. I grew up watching Wizard of Oz and loving that song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right?
She was 5'4".
5. And she's
Renee
5.
Zellweger.
Okay, so she's perfect. And how tall is Julie Garland? Look up Julie Garland real
Renee
quick.
Zellweger's a Taurus.
No, she's a Taurus. But so Judy Garland. But so Renee Zellweger is 5'4", and then so that's perfect. But let's see how tall Judy was. But she pulled this off, and she deserved the Oscar over everyone else because that was a tremendous performance. And I remember, I don't know what happened. I think they didn't play it here, or they only played it at certain times.
411.
411. See, so there is a difference, and quite a difference of about a foot.
Gemini.
She was a Gemini, right? What was her birthday?
Her birthday was June 10th, 1922.
June 10th, 1922. Judy Garland.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Midwest person, right? Yeah. Now, here is a piece that I thought was real interesting as I was doing my research. This is an interview with Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show, where she talks a little bit about her career. And when you look at the poster of Judy, and then you look, this is during this time period of when, just before she's probably getting ready to go over to London, and Renee Zellweger nails this.
Is there anything you've ever wanted to do that you've never done?
Retire.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. You don't really want to, do you? I mean, quit singing?
Well, I'd like to be terribly rich. I mean, sort of disgustingly rich. And so
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. And then just be able to sing when I want to. And then if that were the case, I'm sure I'd be singing every night.
That always happens, doesn't it?
Yes. I don't know if it always happens.
No, people always say if they get enough money, they would retire, but they don't. Who's had the greatest influence on your career? Your entire life?
On my career?
No.
MGM. No,
I would imagine so.
And vaudeville before that. Vaudeville was kind of...
You worked with your sisters originally in vaudeville.
Yes, and my mother.
Actually, the outfit that she wore during the interview, she wears in the film.
Oh, sure is, as I look at it.
If that were the case, I'm sure I'd be singing every night.
So she went through
a lot.
A hellish thing, and you know what? She had husbands and poor money management and trusting other people with her money. Made it so that she was broke in the end, and she was needing money. She was getting shows in the States at $100. In the movie, they moved it to $150, but in actuality, in the States, she was doing it for only $100 a show. And this is Judy Garland from MGM.
And she didn't have what they will call today a momager. You know, her mother wasn't around. Her father wasn't around when, the studio heads were emotionally and physically abusing her as a child. Because she grew up, under MGM, acting in films. And she was just all alone. And just from a you'll see it when you watch the film, but I was just amazed. I knew that she had a drug and alcohol problem as an adult, but I didn't know that as a child, the studio was giving her drugs as a child.
Yeah. It's horrendous what they were doing. It's really horrendous. So you have to see Judy, the flashback sequences. Well, let's get to it. Cinematography, and the camera movement and telling the story with the various angles. That's a 10. Storyline, through line, 10. Character arc, 10. Acting skill, emoting skill, the singing, while emoting, 10. Wardrobe, cars, wigs, the set, 10. Locations is a 10. Story beats, connecting the flashbacks to what was happening in her life real time. That's a 10. Believability, that's a 10. Historical facts in the piece, 10. What would you give Judy?
I would give it a 10. I mean, wonderful music. I have to add that. The music was just beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, Renee Zellweger, she sang. She didn't lip sync. She sung all the songs herself. So the music was great. I have to add that, and then along with the costume and design, which is a part of it, but I definitely have to add the jury because the pieces were really nice. So this was a really, really, really great film.
You know,
her acting is just up there, superb.
You know, I have to say, I have to give props to this film. There's 3 films that you should see, right? One film didn't get the Oscar, but the other 2 did. Okay. Judy, the Bohemian Rhapsody, the story of Queen, that was good, and the story of Elton John.
It was good also.
Right?
Yeah.
Those 3 films that you should see. If you're into music and you're into all types of music. I grew up a DJ, you know, that was into hip hop. So hip hop is amalgamation of various different types of music. So we as DJs listen to everything. Because what you can blend together to freak a person's head when they're on the dance floor, or they're listening over the radio, or they're listening on a mix CD or a mix cassette or on a mix digital today. What you can do to freak their head, you have to be able to listen to all forms of music. So those 3 films, everyone likes Queen. Yeah. You know, so Queen, we reviewed that. Go back and watch that. We reviewed the Elton John film. I can't think of the name of it right now because it wasn't called Elton John.
Was it the Rocket Man?
Rocket Man. That's right. We reviewed Rocket Man and Judy right now. So
I'm looking forward to the Aretha Franklin story.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. That's gonna be another one. So you gave Judy a 10.
I gave Judy a 10.
I give Judy a 10. That's right, people.